Hello friends, this is Avinash Kumar. Welcome you all once again in this video. In today's video, we are going to discuss on string buffer and string builder in Java. So let's start it. So before we start the discussion on string buffer and string builder, let's quick recap on string class. We have already studied that the string class is immutable in Java. So that means whenever we do any operations on a string class, the unnecessary objects or unreferenced object will be created on string pool. So if we are going to do some operation on top of a string, then we should not use the string class to store the string values. Then what we should do, we should come up with the solution that is string buffer and a string builder. But now we have two different classes, a string buffer and a string builder. So which one we should prefer and which case we should use a string buffer and builder? So if we talk about the similarities, the both class are mutable in nature. Means if you will change the values, then it will not create a different object. In the same object, the value will be changed, and because these are not part of the pool, so the each value will be separate, kept into the separate objects. Means the value sharing is not over here. And the thing is that the other similarity is like both class is having same name method and same functional method. Means if string buffer is having reverse method, then a string builder is also having reverse method. So number of method, type of method and work of method is same in a string buffer and a string builder. But the difference is the methods in a string buffer is thread safe, but the methods in a string builder is not a thread safe. It means that if we are doing any operation in a thread environment, then we should use string buffer. But if we are using and we know that there in this operation thread safety is not required, then we should go with the string builder. So here we can see in this picture that if we are using a string buffer, if a method is being executed, then at a single time that method will be accessible by a single thread, not by the multiple thread. So in nature, string buffer is bit slower than the string builder, because in this picture we can see that multiple thread parallelly can use a method. So this is the change. So each class have their own pros and cons. A string we can use when you do not need to do operation on top of that. We will use a string buffer when we need to use operation on top of that, the value, but in a multi-threading environment or when we require thread safety. But a string builder, if we do not require the thread safety and we need to do operation on string objects, string kind of value objects, then we can go with the string builder. Now let's see some methods in a live demo. So let's move into live demo. In this live demo, I have made a class, and here we have some examples. So how we can instantiate our string buffer. So this is the way. We have another way also. You can check over here. So these many constructors we have in a string buffer. By these many constructors we can create object of a string buffer. It's a default. It's like a capacity we will take, and it's a string. We are going to see that in the character sequence we have already seen. So here passing a string, you can make that string as a string buffer. So let's check that. So here we have capacity and length name method. So execute this first. Okay, there is some problem. So here, when I have executed this program, the length is showing 17 and the capacity is 33. So here what happened, like whatever the value or length we can say that of string buffer will be, the plus 16 will be the capacity of the string buffer initially only. But what if we going to change the value into the substring? Here we have a method named append that is used to add value or append value with the in existing object. So here technolozies.kart, I'm going to append is my YouTube channel. So this is a way to append using the append method. So now I'm going to append this string into this particular string buffer, and finally it will become a string buffer object. So how this will impact the length and capacity? So here initially the length was 17, so plus 16 become the capacity of the string buffer object. When we added some values into that, then it exceed with the 33 capacity. Then the next capacity, what will happen, the older one into 2 plus 2, that is 68. So the first capacity will be the length plus 16. Then next one will be older into 2 plus 2. Let's try to check that once again. Here initial was length was 1 plus 16, so capacity is 17. Now the value has increased with the capacity, so the next new capacity will be older capacity into 2 plus 2. So here 17 into 2 plus 2, 36. So it's how the capacity and length work in a string buffer. Now moving to next example, how we can insert values into a string buffer. Now what I'm trying to do is, in a string buffer object, I'm going to insert this part of string after 17th index. Let me change. So now I'm going to execute it. So what happened here, we are able to insert between the string using this string method, because using append technolozies.kart is my channel, it was initial value, and then we tried to insert on 17 index and Kumar Avinash 45. It means technolozies.kart and Kumar Avinash 45 is my YouTube channel. So using that insert method, we can insert a part of a string into the string buffer. Now moving to next example, how we can delete from the string buffer. So here you can check that between that 17 and 37, I want to delete all the values. So here, using the delete method, we can do this. Now moving to next example. Here, using the reverse method only, we can reverse the complete string what we have in SP reference variable. So here we have technolozies.kart as my YouTube channel. Now I'm going to execute it. So what is going on? This method reverse this value. So how you can reverse that existing value of a string buffer? Now the last, so we have also like method chaining kind of thing. So you can also directly call the method chaining like a method chaining here, because the string reverse method returns a string buffer. So on top of that string buffer, this append has been called. Since reverse is returning a string buffer, so we can call append on top of that, and append is also returning a string buffer, so we can call insert on top of that, and insert is also returning a string buffer. So this kind of method chaining we can use in a string buffer and builder also, and some methods of a string also. But the point is, when a method returning its own reference, we can call this type of chaining on top of the method. So this is helpful when you want to do multiple operations in a single line, then you can do this kind of thing. So what it will do, it will first reverse the string, then it will append this, and on top of that, after fifth index, it will insert these many stars on that. So let's check the output. So what happened? It reversed first all the string, then in the end, this was append, and after that, this is many star has been inserted into the just after the, or we can say that just into the fifth index. So that's it from my side. I have tried to introduce some methods of a string buffer. But what about the builder? As I said, the string builder is having same number of methods, but the difference is the string builder is not thread safe, means those methods are non synchronized. So let's see that what actually I was talking about. Each method is synchronized. It's a synchronize. So we have a lot of methods we have. So we can also explore by yourself. Here the append method is a synchronize. Now let's try to open a class string builder. Control Shift T, string builder. Here I'm going to open append method. So it is not synchronized. So that is only a difference between the buffer and builder. It is not thread safe, it is thread safe. It is faster, it is not faster because it's a thread safe. Only one thread can be accessible at a one time. So here, this is a major difference between the string builder and string buffer actually. And string builder class is with us from the JDK 1.0, but string builder with us from Java 1.5. So there is also a difference. So that's it from a side. I tried to cover in this particular video like what is a string and when we should use a string, or when we should use a string buffer, and when we should use a string builder. What is difference between the string buffer and string builder, and which one is faster, like string buffer or string builder for mutable operations. So these many questions I try to cover in this particular video, and that's it from my side. And kindly like this video, subscribe my YouTube channel, watch my next video on string tokenizer class in Java. Till then, thanks.